Kids are always going to figure out how to do the most dangerous thing they can in whatever environment they can. You can think of the open pit fire as a laboratory. You don't know what they're going to learn from playing with it. You know, let them fool around with it on their own terms, and trust me, they're going to learn things that you can't get out of playing with Dora the Explorer toys.
Is the best way to toughen up your children to stop trying so hard to keep them safe? That's what one popular motivational speaker claims, and he isn't even a parent himself. He says there are 5 dangerous habits that you'll want to teach your kids, and they're all ideas that have parents squirming, like playing with fire or even owning a knife, as you see in that photo right there. His ideas are certainly radical, but he claims too many parents are overprotecting their kids, and a little danger is actually good for them, he says. So are parents trying too hard to keep their children safe? Joining us this morning to talk about that very subject, Tamara Bell, chairman of the board at the Super Neighborhood Alliance. Good morning to you. Also, Pastor Deezy Cofield of Good Hope Missionary Baptist Church. We're certainly glad you're with us today. And I'd like to also introduce John Pacini, entrepreneur and co-founder of the Dad 2.0 Summit. Good morning to you all. What a powerful thing that he's saying to parents. And I agree that I do, as a young parent, try to do everything I can to protect my kids. How do you feel about this? Telling them to play with fire, own a knife.
Well, you know, the video's been around for a while, and when I first saw it, my first reaction was, he's not a parent. And, you know, getting advice from somebody who's not a parent about parenting is like getting advice about, you know, how to use your boat from somebody who lives in the Sahara Desert. I mean, it just didn't make sense. There's no frame of reference. But as I watched the video, it really impacted me in the way that the lessons that he's teaching are about risk-taking and about helping your children take those risks with parental supervision. And I found that that was really powerful. And one of the things that is important to us is looking at Dad 2.0 is looking at engaged fatherhood and how a lot of times fathers are more involved in teaching children how to take risks.
One of the most important things I believe we can teach our children is responsibility, and perhaps we do have a hard time doing that sometimes, but do you feel like it's crossing the line to give that type of advice? How do you feel about it?
I feel that it's crossing the line up to a point, because some of the things that he's asking, and as you said, he's not a parent, a knife, adults cut themselves with knives. So to have that on your conscience because you did it and you permitted this into the environment, you got to be willing to, number one, not only teach the child responsibility, but look at the responsibility that's on you if something happens. I'm not saying that educating your child about the dangers is going to prevent anything from happening either, because you never know, it might. But to openly say that you teach your child how to handle these things and what age, and I mean, there's so much as a mom myself, and I not only am a mom, we mentor 21 children. And you want to make sure they're prepared for the different environments, but you also have to use common sense when you're looking at these.
Common sense is something huge, but that's almost something that has to be born in you. But if you have good examples, I think that you can sort of get a sense of that. How do you feel that parents can teach their children responsibility without perhaps being too dominant over them?
Yeah, I think most parents in this day and time are very protective. Some would say overprotective, but I think the question is not so much protecting them from predators. Mr. Tully is advocating allowing your children to have supervised experiences, and I think that's very important. When he talks about, for example, a child driving a car, and then he shows a picture of a child sitting on the lap of their parent steering the steering wheel. Well, I don't know how many of us have done it. I know I did, not only with my children, but I remember sitting on my grandfather's lap and on my father's lap, and I couldn't wait to drive. Now, that being said, it was supervised. A parent was there, they were guiding it, and I think that's part of it. And as parents, we recognize that when our children are young, we give them direct supervision, but as our children get older, our parenting style changes, and now we become more instructional and advisory in our role with children. And so, you know, Mr. Tully, basically, his whole topic was more of a tease in my mind, to basically just start a dialogue, start a conversation.
It works, because people are talking about it. But like you said, you can't take it out of context. You have to look at that video and see that there is not a toddler behind the wheel. They're actually, as you said, in mom or dad's lap. Does that make you feel a little more comfortable with it all, knowing that we're talking completely supervised, and that you know, maybe it is good to show them this? Because how many times do we tell our kids, stay away from the candle, don't get close to the fire?
Absolutely, absolutely. No, I mean, that's, and he runs a camp that provides supervised experiences, right? Fully supervised, 24/7. And so that's what what he's trying. He uses provocative language and provocative images, kids holding knives by themselves. But the important thing is be involved in your kids' lives and teach them, give them these opportunities to learn not only science but learn also responsibility. Important
life lessons for us all. I appreciate your input. Thanks for helping us out. I know people are listening closely because they're buzzing on social media and waiting for you to get here. So appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa.
Jose.